Real quick, just so you know, today we're doing the review notes in class. The chapter 11 review assignment is 2 nights homework. This is due Friday, 5/24. Review assignment is due Friday, 5/24. Just, I mean, that would make sense. See what with the 2 stamps and whatnot. But anyway, okay. Moving on. All right. The first 6 problems are all rational expressions. If you're a person who likes to put the topics on your review notes, this whole page is rational expressions minus this number 7 here is a solve a system in 3 variables. But anyway, okay. Number 1, simplify each and state the excluded values. Okay, so what you do is you look for, actually, no, let's write GCF first because GCF should always come first. I need Mr. Guinan to pop his head in right now and just yell GCF really loud. Okay, you look for GCF. Diamond and box. Or difference of squares. So basically, for a lot of these problems, you're starting with factoring. And these are the 3 types of factoring that I'll expect you to be able to do. GCF, diamond and box, and difference of squares. What type of factoring is in number 1? GCF, right. And you want to make sure you look at the top separately from the bottom. The bottom doesn't have any factoring, but the top is GCF style. And what is the GCF of the numerator? 2. So I have 2 and then 7b plus 9 over 6b. This is not a super satisfying problem because there's not a lot to reduce, but I can reduce 2/6 to 1/3. And I get the final answer of 7b plus 9 over 3b. Okay, this is the only problem on the page, if you notice, that asks us to state the excluded values. The rest of them just say to simplify. So we only have to worry about excluded values for this one. You want to go to the answer and then back up a spot and look at the bottom. What would make 0 on the bottom for this one? 0. Okay, what you can do is say 3b cannot equal 0. Divide by 3. B cannot equal 0. If you need to do that, that's how you do it. Any questions about number 1? Nolan, you have a question about number 1? Something else? Okay, just checking. Anything else? Number 1, we're good? Okay. Now let's scroll down to number 2 and 3. Okay, number 2, you're very lucky. This one is already factored. So all I need to do is reduce. Do you see things to reduce in number 2, I mean? N plus 2, beautiful. N plus 8, beautiful. And I get 2n over 3. Just want to make a note. I'm not going to do excluded values for all of them, but for this one, it would be if n does not equal -8 and -2. And I just went above and beyond there. It just said simplify, but just want to clarify. I'm going to do excluded values on number 3 also, but then I'm going to stop after that. Number 3, I just want to clarify because the division one scared everybody before the quiz. So I want to do that. Yes, it did. Don't say that it didn't. I saw you all freak out about the excluded values of division. Okay. All right. So this is a division problem. It is not factored, which means that we need to factor. We're going to factor first. So we have x plus 3. That's not factorable. Is this factorable here? What style of factoring is this? GCF. And the GCF of this is 2x. And then I have x plus 3, which is not shocking because you're going to want to cancel stuff. So that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to keep it division for a moment. We have GCF on the numerator here for x minus 4. And we have GCF again on the bottom for x minus 1. Are there any questions about my factoring? Is my factoring questionable? Did I screw up somewhere? Highly probable. I did good? Okay, now we're going to do excluded values over here because with division, you have to do excluded values before and after the keep change flip. Okay, look right here at this little piece. What can x not be? 0. X can't be 0. What about this little piece? -3. What about this little piece? 0, we already got that. What about this little piece? 1. Okay, now we're going to do the keep change flip. Okay, we already got 0. We already got -3. We already got 0, but now we need to add 4. Oh, that's quite a list of things that x can't be. Kind of annoying. Okay, do you see stuff to reduce? There's 2 sets of things to reduce. X plus 3, 4x. So final answer is x minus 1 on the top, and then 2x, x minus 4 on the bottom. Okay, now I swear I'm going to stop doing excluded values after this. Any questions about number 2 or 3 before we move on? Sure. Okay. All right, number 4 is has a like denominator, which is great. We just add across the top. Bottom stays the same. Add across the top. Bottom stays the same. And you're thinking to yourself, probably, do I need to factor the bottom? I see the bottom's the GCF. Can you all see the bottom's the GCF? So let's see on this one. So the top is now going to be k plus 11. Okay, the rule is you have to factor the bottom if you think that you can reduce it with the top. Do you think that the bottom will factor into anything with k plus 11? No. So you don't have to factor the bottom because it's not going to cross out with k plus 11. However, it's very difficult for people to see So for me, I would just do it just to be safe. Either one of these two answers is full credit. Final answer, full credit, either one, don't care. But if you do this, you can just check to make sure that nothing's reducible. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 5. So number 5 is a subtraction problem that does not have a like denominator. This side has a 5 and an m and an m, and this side has a 5 and an m. Which fraction is missing something? Fraction 1 or fraction 2? And what is it missing? An m. Beautiful. I'm just going to make this mn just because I can't not do it. Okay, now you're saying to yourself, okay, Mrs. Talbot, do I have to keep going? And the answer is you have to keep going if there's something you can reduce with the bottom. So I just suggest keep going just to see. So does the top have a GCF of 2m? Okay, now this is notes. There's a lot of you guys in here who don't need to do this part, but I just want to do it because it's notes. A lot of you guys can just cancel out this m and cancel out that exponent. It's totally fine. I just don't want to do that because it's notes. So I expanded the bottom so you can really see that giant one. Okay, any questions about number 4 or 5 before we move on? Okay, number 6. This is kind of more the classic style here. This is what you saw on your like rational expressions math lib and stuff. So this side has a 5. So that means this side is going to need a 5 over 5. And this side has an n minus 6. So this side is going to need an n minus 6 over n minus 6. Unfortunately, it's all into the problem number, but that's fine. We're smart. We can figure it out. Okay. Now make a really long fraction bar. The bottom is just going to be 5 times n minus 6. We're just going to leave it like that. So remember, subtract across the top, bottom stays the same. I just put the 5 in the front because I think it looks nicer. Okay, so I'm going to put n minus 6 times 3 minus n plus 5 times 5. Okay, the next step is really kind of unnecessary. I just took the numbers that I multiplied by, moved them in the fronts of the parentheses, just because I'm afraid that if you distribute this 5, you will forget about that negative. Um, GCF, no, that's it. That's not a pretty or satisfying answer at all. Correct, but not pretty or satisfying. Okay, now before we move on to number 7, I want to note this particular set of review notes had a lot of GCF in it. There are actually 3 different types of factoring that I need you to know how to do, though. That is GCF, diamond and box, and difference of squares. If you need to, on your note card, make sure that you have an example of GCF, diamond and box, and difference of squares. I highly suggest that. But these are the 3 types of factoring I'll be expecting. If you look on your review assignment in these problems, there is some diamond and box, and there's some diamond and box, GCF, GCF. I don't know if there's difference of squares, but you should be ready for that. Okay. I feel dumb kind of writing the topic on the side here, because that's what the directions say. But I also feel compelled to do it because, you know, I did it for the other one. And so now I feel like I follow through. Anyway, it's called solving a system, 3 variables. Alrighty. First thing I'm going to do is come over here, plow over the number 7 and number my 3 equations. I'm going to have to write pretty small. Okay. You know, that was dumb. I should have written this up here because then it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Which variable should I eliminate? Z, I think Z. Okay. Y is also a decent choice. If your brain went to Y, that's totally okay too. X would be fine too if you know what you're doing. But Z, I think, is the easiest. Okay. Now, which 2 makes the most sense to pair together? First and third, for sure. And then first and second. Okay. Do you think I can fit them in this spot right here? Okay. What is the rationale for doing first and third? What can I do for the Z's? I have a 6Z here and a negative Z here. Multiply the top one by 6. Okay. Okay, now the first and second, I have both negative z's. What can I do? Yeah, multiply one of them by -1. I'm just gonna do the bottom one. Z's cancel, z's cancel. Anyone see any mistakes with my math? Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save room. I'm gonna take the second one and write it right underneath this one. Does anyone see a good strategy for solving this system? Multiply the bottom by -2. Beautiful. Okay, moment of truth. Oh, whole number. Okay, which one of the three equations do you like the best? First one, okay. 3x is now -1 plus crap -3 because y is -3 minus c equals -8. Okay, final answer. -1, -3, 2. Okay, before you think that life is smooth sailing now, we have another one of those in the form of finding the parabola. But I just don't think we can do enough of these. Like, they're hard. Okay. Well, let's do some easy stuff first. Excellent. Plot each point. Okay. So we have X, Y, Z. My favorite problem of the whole review notes for sure. And X is 4, so you're going to go out 4 and you're going to make an arrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're coming toward the X, that means it's positive. If you're going away from the X, that means it's negative. Okay, so Y is -3. Should I go left or right? Right. Excellent. 1, 2, 3. Crap. That's terrible. I'm gonna get a ruler. 1 second. Hold on. It's right here. It's not even parallel. Wow. The struggle. Does that look more parallel? Okay. I think that's better. Okay, so 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -3, and then -2 would be down 2. So I went 4, positive on the X, -3 on the Y, and then down 2. I guess I probably didn't go far enough, huh? It's good. It's good. Four, -3, -2. Whew. All right. Why is plotting the coordinates so much harder than plotting the plane? All right, so sketch each plane. So we're going to do the X intercept. What? The X-intercept means Y and Z will both be 0. So you have -8x equals -24. I'm just doing the cover-up method here. -8x equals negative what? It's very simple. Divide by -8. X equals 3. So that's the coordinate 3, 0, 0. 1, 2, 3, which would be right here. So there's your 3, 0, 0 on the X. Y-intercept, you're going to cover up everything except for the Y. So you have -12y equals -24. Divide by -12. y equals 2. Come out positive 2 on the y. Okay. And then z-intercept negative 24, z equals negative 24. Z equals 1, 0, 0, 1. Are you guys whispering because I did something wrong? I hope not, because I wrote all of this in pen and colored pencil. Did I do it wrong? Anyone? No? Okay. Just checking. Any questions about 8 or 9? No? You sure? I like those two. Are you sure? I feel like there's questions and you guys are not asking me. No? You positive? Okay. All right. Back to the hard stuff. Actually, number 11 is not hard. Okay. Number 10. Use the information to write the standard form equation x, y, x, y, x, y. Remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. 8 equals a times negative 5 squared plus b times negative 5 plus c. I have more room this time. I don't have to write like, microscopically. It's going to be great. No one needs to know that, Nolan. A times negative 8 squared plus b times negative 8 plus c. 0 equals a. That's information we keep to ourselves. Squared negative 7 plus c. Does anyone see anything wrong with my work? I got heinously distracted in the middle of writing that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna label them 1, 2, 3. 8 equals, okay, what would this be? Yes, beautiful. 25a and then minus 5b plus c. Negative 10 equals 64a minus 8b plus c. 0 equals 49a minus 7b plus c. Okay, now, as we decided, or I demanded yesterday. Don't think about the things to eliminate. You want to do C every time. And I always put 1 and 2 together. And I always put 1 and 3 together. I don't even think about it. Doesn't matter because I'm going to eliminate the C's regardless. So if I could just write it down properly, that would be great. 8 equals 25A 5B plus C. Negative 10 equals 64A minus 8B plus C. And I'm going to, in a moment, multiply that bottom one by -1 so that I can add and cancel the C's out. Okay. Okay, let's see if I did this correctly. Cancel, cancel. Okay, so I have 18 equals, what's 25 minus 64? -39? Yikes. That doesn't make me feel confident. 8 equals -24. Gross. What? Did I do it wrong? You popped your head up, so I thought maybe I did it wrong. Okay. Okay, what do you think? This is pretty terrible. Zoe will tell us if we ask her nicely. What should I do? Yeah, but one of them should be negative. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do the top by -2 and the bottom by 3. And I really, Zoe could probably get away with not doing that, but what? Subtraction's harder, I think, than addition. So I think it's best to have one negative and one positive so you can add. Whew. I was nervous there for a minute. Hmm, that's unusually large, but at least it's a whole number. Which one of the originals are we voting for? They're all terrible. 3? Okay. Hurrah for calculators. Hold on. Let me check my. Did anybody do that in a calculator? I should check it. Try to do it in my head. Ah. Okay. Final answer. Y equals a x squared plus b x plus c. Okay, no throwing the pencil yet. We have a full problem to do still. Okay. First check. Do you guys all know how to make Pascal's triangle? Okay. This last one is. Oh, Christ. We did not write the topics. It's okay. This one is called sketching a plane. And this one is still system of equations in 3 variables. And this one is called binomial expansion theorem. Okay. Is there a topic on the test that is not on this review note set of stuff? Anybody remember? Let me look. Oh, yep. Okay, hold on. Let's just check real quick. Solving a system of 3 equations. We did 2 of those actually. We did all these rational expressions. We added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided. We sketched a plane. We're doing binomial expansion theorem right now. This is the one that is not on the review notes because it's not this chapter. But you guys should know how to do those, and we have a lot of them in the review assignment, so you should be okay. All right, just check it. Anybody know what row we're in for number 11? Yes, row 4. And do you know what row 4 is? 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. I felt really bad for the people who thought row 4 was 1, 3, 3, 1, but it doesn't actually start with row 1. It starts with row 0. So, you know, if you did that, just so you know, the row number should always be the second number in. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, Okay, so start with 1. Front seat to the full power, back seat to the 0. Plus 4. Front seat down, back seat up. Plus 6. Front seat down, back seat up. Plus 4. Front seat down, back seat up. Plus 1. Front seat down, back seat up. One, 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 one. Okay. 2x to the 4th is 16x to the 4th plus 4 times 8x cubed times negative y. Do you see where the 8x cubed came from? Super important. Plus 6. No. Plus 6 times 4x squared times positive y squared. Do you see where the positive y squared came from? Negative y times negative y. Plus 4 times 2x times, what would this be? Negative y to the 3rd, because it's negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. And then what would this one be? Positive y to the 4th. Beautiful. Okay. Last thing, and then we're done. 16x to the 4th. So this is 4 times 8 is 32 times negative 1 is minus 32 x cubed y. 6 times 4 is 24 x squared y squared. 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 1 is negative 8 xy cubed plus y to the 4th.